you know that according to the National Abuse Statistics Hotline, a report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's all it took for somebody to report child abuse. 10 seconds. And if you add together the child victims and the adult survivors and the abusers, that's 15 out of every 100 Americans who have either been molested as a child or are a molester. This was done by a study by Abel and Harlow. Looking at these numbers, child molestation is a problem. To fix this, I propose that teenage boys should be psychologically tested for pedophilia starting in junior high. Let's focus on the problem by looking at the number of male pedophiles in the United States. Then, if we look at the Abel assessment, I believe that this would be a great way to test junior high school boys for pedophilia. Finally, we need to look at the signs of pedophilia early so we can prevent more children from getting hurt. Teenage boys should be evaluated for pedophilia starting in junior high. This will prevent future molestations. As a person, you have brothers or sisters that could be affected. Maybe you have a child, or a niece, or a nephew. To start, let's look at the number of pedophiles in the United States. An estimated 1 in every 20 males, teenage boys and adults, sexually abuse children. This is according to Abel and Harlow. People can probably name 20 males off the top of their head like that. And if they have children or brothers or sisters that are younger than them, they can probably say most of these males have had contact with their child or their relative. These people may not be pedophiles, but that just gives you an idea of how easy it is to put faces to 20 male adults and teenagers. Most of the time, this 1 in every 20 males is someone the child may know. According to Abel and Harlow, 84% of pedophiles admit that they've harmed somebody in their family, and only 10% have said that they've harmed somebody that is a complete stranger. These numbers, they're scary. Children do not deserve this, and to be around people like this. But if they are exposed to 100 people in a day, they have had contact with 5 different pedophiles. That is just too many. Why target the men and not the women? Because women can be child molesters too, right? And it's sexist to count just men and not women, right? Yes, it is not fair, but statistically speaking, males molest more children than women do. 1 in every 3,300 women molest children, according to Abel and Harlow. That is significantly smaller than the 1 in 20 males that molest children. So it is not fair, but statistically speaking, women don't do this very often. And most studies done, they do start out by testing women, but they end up eliminating them because they don't have enough females to have accurate data. If you look at the Abel and Harlow study, they state this when they're talking about the elimination of women in their study. We also eliminated women for the RG-NAL group of admitted child molesters because the number who admitted to molesting a child of 13 years or younger was equal to 55. This was too small to yield statistically significant results or to make adequate comparisons to the 3,952 males. Since males are more likely to molest, and statistically speaking, 1 in every 20 males are a child molester, we need to do something about this in our communities and help lower this number. Now, keeping that mindset that we need to do something about the number of males who molest children, a good way to do that would be using the Abel assessment on junior high school boys. There is another type of test to evaluate pedophilia other than the Abel assessment, but it is very embarrassing for the person being evaluated. And this test is called the penile plethysmograph, according to Cowling. This assessment is embarrassing, and it's not as good as the Abel assessment because it's less elaborate and it just doesn't work as well. In the Abel assessment, according to Cowling, it would consist of 6 tests. It includes 5 hours of clinical interviews with a trained doctor, a full series of psychological testing, sexual interest testing that identifies 15 different categories of sexual interest, including non-paraphilic and paraphilic areas, sexual addiction screening, and it compares the patient's responses with those traditionally seen as having sex addiction problems, a forensic polygraph, and a drug screen. Now, this method was used to identify adult pedophiles that are known to be pedophiles. Therefore, some of the ABLE assessment can be altered so it can be done in smaller amounts to make it quicker and easier to identify concerns of a possible offender. Some would argue that psychology is a junk science and anyone could pass a psychological exam. On the contrary, psychology has helped us solve many problems in our world today, especially identifying disorders that cannot be just treated with modern medicines or found with modern medicines. Psychology is very helpful and not easily trumped. Even Alan Cowley, a defense lawyer for people accused of pedophilia, stated, "I would not begin to know how to train someone to pass any psychological sexual preference testing or any polygraph." I'm not saying psychology is flawless, but it is just effective as any other tools used in modern medicine. Finding signs of pedophilia early in teenage boys will help prevent more children from getting hurt. Child molesters usually begin their pattern of behavior while still teens. This is according to Goetz. If they start this early, pedophilia needs to be stopped before they have a chance to act upon it. There is always hope for people, and if they can be helped, they should be. They may start at this age, but if it's caught soon enough, they don't have to act on it. According to Abel and Harlow, since teenagers may meet all the diagnostic criteria for pedophilia before they have sexually touched a child, teenagers who are evaluated at this early stage of pedophilia, if given effective treatment, have an excellent chance of controlling their pedophilia so they never become child molesters. This testing will not only help prevent future pedophiles, but it will give young boys a chance to get help if it is needed. Also, if boys get the help they need, it will prevent future molesters. How will it prevent future molesters, you may ask? Well, a vast majority of child molesters were also molested as children. It is an endless cycle, and it needs to be stopped. How early and what age they start molesting depends upon a lot of things. According to Abel and Harlow, molesters with pedophilia who sexually abuse boys start the earliest. 20% reported that they had their first victim before they were aged 10 years old. And another 43% began to molest between the ages of 10 and 15. And in a grand total of 76% said that they had their first child victim before they were 20 years old. If pedophilia is caught early, it can be stopped, it can be prevented, and it will help people, especially our children. Now, looking at how many male pedophiles there are in the United States, how the ABLE assessment could help diagnose junior high boys, and finally going over how we need to catch pedophilia early to help prevent future incidences, teenage boys should be psychologically tested for pedophilia starting in junior high. The future of our children of the United States depends on this testing. Too many seconds have gone by not to do something. Too many have reported abuse already. We need to do something about this.